If you've ever been to Tokyo, you will have seen all these shining, towering skyscrapers, and I'm sure you've seen bento boxes as well. And of course, there are Hondas everywhere there. And when you put all those three things together, well, you get this. Now, the younger me would have run away screaming from a big boxy MPV like this, but the older and wiser me can really see the point. This car is efficient, it is highly space efficient. It's a little bit like Japan on wheels. What we have here is the Honda Step Wagon. It's a 7-seat MPV with sliding doors and a big old tailgate in the back. MPVs are back in fashion, and what the Step Wagon brings to the table here in Singapore are a really frugal hybrid system and a manageable footprint for our tight roads. And what we have here is a 2-litre non-turbo high compression engine with 145 horsepower, and somewhere down there, I guess if you follow the orange cables, is an electric motor with 184 horsepower, and they can drive this car together. And this is a self-charging hybrid, so no need to plug it in. And the road tax on this particular car is around about $100 a month. And what that has to pull along is basically one size down from the maxi MPVs like the Toyota Velfire, and one size up from smaller MPVs like the Toyota Sienta. In fact, this car is slightly shorter and narrower than a Honda Accord, so it's really built to be manageable on tight urban conditions like the ones we have in Singapore. Oh, but the height is 1,847 millimeters. So I think I smell a multi-storey car park test coming on. But verticality is the whole point of this car. In fact, it gives the Step Wagon its personality, its mojo, its entire reason for existing. You can see that right from the very first generation from 1996, because this thing was always meant to be a house on wheels. And getting into your house should be nice and easy, right? Well, let me show you what it's like here. It's not a matter of muscle power. In fact, I'm going to do it with one finger, because all you have to do is this, and motors do the rest. You don't have to yank, and you certainly don't have to pull the door back. It's just a matter of using one finger and then letting the Honda take over. This car has a low floor as well as a high ceiling, so you can get on board without heaving a leg up or dipping a head too low. And one of the reasons it has a low floor is that, remember, it's not electric, so it's got space for a low floor. So score 1 for combustion power. Okay, man, it looks like somebody has already been inside here sleeping in my chair, but just wanted to show you that you can do this with the Ottoman's chairs in the second row. It is not quite up to business class standard in SQ, but hey, I think it's better than Lufthansa. If you want to undo all this, it's really a simple matter of pulling a lever and pushing this down, pulling another lever, and that's pretty much it. If you want to slide this back, it's also one more lever and just a light touch on this rail over here. Of course, backseat experience wouldn't be complete without your very own handy-dandy aircon vent, super important in Singapore, and you get your own climate controls back here, so everyone back here, possibly right there, is going to be happy. So, one of the things that this car was meant to do is to please families, and that is why you have this little tray up here, which is actually a little bit too neat for family use. So, let me complicate my life a little bit. Now, this is much better, or should I say worse. Clamber aboard, see how easy that was, and let's push this button here to shut the door. And let me get a little bit closer here. And oh, I wish you could feel this mechanism and how smooth it is. That's like the most Honda part of this car. Okay, so this is what I think of as the family zone, because look at how much you can do with this tray over here. For some reason, I've got 2 drinks holders. I could actually have one more at the door, so I'll just put that back here. Oh, it's in here. So you're never going to die of thirst if you're well prepared in a car like this. Honda's brochure says you can use this to get a bit of work done, but I don't really think so. It's not big enough for a laptop. But look at what else you can do here. I've got space for things like a notebook in case kids still read things. I have a USB charging port over here, and actually counted there are at least 4 back here. So everyone's got their own except the poor chap in the middle of the 3rd row. But yeah, this is handy because, you know, running out of juice on a long road trip is like a disaster, right? And I do have a hook here for bags like this one over here. And check it out, I still have room between these seats for another little school bag over here. But what I really think this is for is, well, okay, let me just pull out some snacks over here. Oh, look, corn. Okay, love corn. Well, let me give you something corny.
2 hours later.
Why does a Honda engine never tell secrets? because it doesn't leak. Okay, so I don't have any children of my own, at least not that I know of.
A few moments later.
And I don't really know much about children, but I do know they are noisy, they are messy, and they love to snack. So you can get this going here, you can get the drinks going there, and you can of course hypnotize them with a digital device so they will keep quiet, they will keep occupied, they will keep themselves hydrated and nourished, and probably localize the mess over here. So I think of this area here as solving 3 problems at once. Of course, in a car like this, the third row is super important. So let me just make my way back there to show you how easy it is to maneuver between these 2 front seats and slip into the back, even though I am 50 years old. I'm just gonna join my cameraman, Jay, over here. Jay's a man of few words. He lets his camera work do the talking. So this is where you're supposed to be able to fit 3 people in the back of the Step Wagon. It's a 2+2+3 configuration. But I don't know, Jay, what do you think of the space back here? Let me point out something. If you want to use this middle seat, you have to pull this down from the ceiling and set up your third seat belt over here. So let me see what it's like. Okay, it is not difficult to do, but it is a bit of a faff. So let me just position myself over here. And Jay, let's say you sit normally, right? What do you think of this then?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good? I don't know. I mean, I've got my elbows nice and tight at my sides. I will say that you can fit 3 grown men into the back over here, but they should ideally be good friends. So let me just reset this now and show you what that is like. Okay. Right, and in terms of other amenities, there are a couple of cup holders here. I can put my phone over here, still have space for a little bottle, as well as charging points. So overall, I think I'm quite well set up for a long journey, but really this would work better for 2 people. And if you're feeling cramped back here, well, why don't we show everyone how easy it is to get out. Jay, why don't you show the nice people how easy it is to escape the back of the Step Wagon. So there's a lever over there you can push to push the seat all the way forward, and yeah, it's a straight shot through the door over there. You can of course go through the middle row like I did. And now I just have to show you the boot, but I'm sort of already inside the boot. The reason I say I'm already in the boot is because, well, when I pull this lever over here, and look at how easy this is, this drops straight into the floor and creates the boot. So let me just get out here and show you. Now then, how big is this in terms of liters? I have no idea because Honda actually doesn't seem to want to publish that. But as you can see, there is a lot of space here. So this is what is my wife's favorite shopping bag, and I can stand it up in the back over here because there is a bit of a welt. So the space is versatile, and again, let me show you how easy it is. If I want to drop this, it's just one lever here, fold, and the opposite is true. It's just as easy because it's sprung very well, and just with one hand, I'm either very strong or this is very easy. I'll let you decide which. I can get things just about the way they were before. So I don't have liters, but I do have a tape measure. So let me just measure this from floor to ceiling. This well over here is pretty deep, so you can imagine it fitting groceries pretty well. And that's just over 1.42 meters. So yeah, a little child could stand here if you want to put him there. You can of course have this flat, and then you've got a loading space of up to, let me see, just over 1.53 meters. So I'm pretty sure you could get something like a bicycle back here. And I guess it's up to you to decide how much space you want to allocate to your cargo and to your humans, because that of course slides backwards and forwards. Oh, but let me show you something else that's quite remarkable about this car. You can also fold this flat, and I would have to take these off if I wanted to close the tailgate, but just come with me into the second row. Let me show you what happens if I drop this down. I do have something of a bed area, and handy dandy tape measure again. From there to the tailgate, you're talking about, wow, easily more than 2 meters. So you just imagine if you wanted to rob an IKEA or something, this would be the car to do it in. And of course, guy could get pretty comfortable back here. If I had a daughter and he went out with a guy with a Step Wagon, I'd be very worried. By the way guys, if you are finding this video remotely entertaining or useful, please consider subscribing. That would really help us out. And if you have any questions about the Step Wagon or other new cars in Singapore, feel free to drop us a line at the WhatsApp number below, and my team and I will do our best to help you out. Thank you very much. So let's do a quick tour of the Step Wagon. This is a family car, so I guess this is the least important seat, but I do like this steering wheel. It's a nice T shape. It's relatively sporty. There is a digital display in front of me. It's 10.2 inches, and flanking that are some sort of fixed displays. I've got one for fuel and one for battery capacity, and more of that later. Oh, and I can customize this to some extent, so let me just do that and show you here. Now I do have power bars over there, but I can revert to sort of round instruments if I'm a little bit more traditional, and that's what I've got now. Okay, this display is a little bit bigger. It's 11 inches, but this is an aftermarket item, so everything here is all to do with infotainment and really nothing to do with the car. You do get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you know, if you're one of those persons that lives on your phone, then you'll be quite happy to have this run your life here too. Give you a quick tour of the dashboard itself. This is quite traditional, so there are still physical buttons for the aircon system, and I really like that because it is just so easy to use that way. When it's cooler or warmer, just twist this knob and you don't ever have to wonder where everything is and try to figure it out. So yeah, lots of points for that. There's a little display there that says PM 2.5, so that is a measure of pollutant particles, right? PM 2.5 is that nasty stuff that can get into your lungs, so the less of that the better. And yeah, it looks like the air is clean in here. There is a filtration system to make sure that that is always the case. I want to show you that the aircon vents are manual, and yes, I'm going to praise them because that just works so much better than those stupid digital ones that you get in some electric cars. In terms of quality, well, let's use the old fingernails of quality to find out. That's not bad over there. Oh, that's not great over there. That's sort of in the middle over there. And yeah, you're gonna get kind of a mixed bag of quality. I get the feeling that this car is kind of built to withstand family abuse. So there are hard plastics and they don't look expensive, but I think they are built to last. If you're wondering about the upholstery, this is called FabTech, and it's basically a polyester material that's been treated to repel grease and oil and stains and stuff like that. So it feels relatively soft, but it is designed to be very tough for family use. The thing about this car though is, like the back, it is all about storage. So let me show you, well, what I've been hiding around the place. Okay, first up, there's no center console there, which may be a bit disappointing to some people. You may want something to hide your stuff, but it is what it is. You can put a handbag over there, or you can clip it to over here, as long as you keep things below 3 kilograms. So let me just reveal that I have one of those like rich man pouches. You ever see those guys that look wealthy, always carrying one of these?
Smoke weed every day.
Let's just put this here. I've got my old friend, the packet of water here. Let me put that there. Although I do have a space for it actually on the right where the aircon vents are, so I can blow cold air over there and keep it cool. I even have a little compartment or tray here for the key, which is pretty handy and very thoughtful. But yeah, let's continue revealing what I've been hiding. I've got spectacles case, wet wipes. I do have spectacle holders, but oh, I got safety goggles here, which I believe you need when you're dealing with children. We'll put that there as well. Okay, mobile phone number 1, mobile phone number 2. What else do I have? I've got, okay, a lanyard with a key, parking label, let me just put that there. Journalist lunch. And let's see what else I have here. Okay, my wallet has been here as well. And let me see, oh, my trusty tape measure. Oh man, this thing just keeps going. And yeah, I think that's empty. And oh, but there's more though. I can reveal that there's a space over there, and I've been hiding a nice big bottle of water. If I don't want to put that there, I do have a pull-out cup holder over there. Oh yeah, the glove box, of course. Well, every car has one, but this is fairly capacious. So suction cup, because everybody needs one, right? Oh, corn! Let's skip the corny joke this time. And oh yes, the other part of the journalist lunch, potato chips. So look at all this crap over here. I've been hiding all this here because there are so many spaces that you can store your stuff away. So with a car like this, it's not so much all the storage spaces you can see, it's what you can't see that counts. Right here, so let me start my drive the same way everybody does, and that's by leaving the multi-storey car park. And I am on the roof right now, so we know very well that I managed to make it in, even though I made a big deal about this car's height. But you know, this car is like more than 1.8 meters, a little bit under 1.9, so there are going to be some car parks where it might be a little bit tricky for you to squeeze in. And I'm thinking that as long as you keep that number in mind, 1.85 meters, you should be okay. What does surprise me though is that this car doesn't have a 360-degree camera. So I can maneuver my way around the car park, but I'm gonna have to rely on good old-fashioned like proximity sensors. There are parking sensors in front, so if my nose were gonna be near that wall, the car would let me know about it. And of course in the back as well, I do have a reversing camera, so there is that. But yeah, I think a 360 camera would be useful in a car like this because, you know, this car is supposed to be all about being easy to drive. And even better than that would be some of the self-parking things that the Chinese cars can do. Press a button and the car guides itself into place smoothly. But you know what? I think that driving a car like this requires you to have some driving skills. So let's just say that when you drive a Step Wagon, it means you're telling the world that yeah, you can still guide a car through a car park without incident. And yes, I should be able to make it out here, but it's always a bit stressful when you do this because even though you know that you know the numbers and you know what they say on the wall, there's always that moment when you think like, ugh. And I was looking at the car earlier and the front of it seems a little bit lower than the back. So, you know, I have to say, it doesn't mean that just because you've made it through halfway that you're gonna make it through in the end. So I'm gonna say, do your sums, make sure you know your numbers and you should be okay. Righty-ho, from the dizzying heights of the multi-storey car park, we are back to planet Earth and in the middle of Singapore traffic. And this is quite a big car, I gotta say, but do I feel stressed driving it? No, actually. The reason for that is, well, I can actually see really well what's going on around me. The windows are huge, so visibility is great. And it really helps that, you know, the mirrors are big as well. Even the rear view mirror is pretty effective. So yeah, there's no stress about wondering whether there's something going on around you. And remember, this is supposed to be the ultimate family car, so it was designed to have huge windows for everyone in rows 2 and 3 to enjoy themselves as well. It also helps with motion sickness. But what else helps with making this car easy to drive is, well, the turning circle. Let me just show you. I'm going to do a quick U-turn here. And okay, it's not super tight, but the turning radius on this car is 5.7 meters, so that's comparable to many sort of mid-sized cars. So if you can drive one of those sedans, you should be okay in this one. And tell you what, I'm feeling so unstressed driving this, I'm going to look for some rush hour traffic and traffic jams to drive into. Tell you what though, while we look for some heavy traffic, let's go look for some corners along the way. I mean, I know this is an MPV, so I'm really not expecting much, and you know, none of the mega MPVs like the Velfire or maybe the Denza D9 or even the smaller ones like the Toyota Sienna, none of them are any fun to drive at all. I'm really not expecting much from this one. So what am I hoping to achieve by driving through a corner? I don't know, but let's see. I mean, the roads are wet, I'm not going particularly fast, but let's just kind of sling it in and see how stable it feels. Yeah, okay, look, I don't feel unsafe even though it's greasy. I don't feel like I'm about to slide off the road or anything like that. I'm just not really having fun, but you know what? That's to be expected with an MPV like this. I have to say though, I really like driving Hondas. I mean, here's another tight corner, just aim through there. Yeah. There's just a nice weightage to all the controls in this car. Like, the steering is not too light. The switches like the signal stalks and even the controls for the air conditioning all seem to work with like kind of well-oiled precision, and that seems to be the Honda difference. You can call me biased, but you know, I actually owned a Honda for 7 years. I had a Honda Civic, and in 7 years only one thing ever went wrong with that car. The window slipped off its runners and it got stuck. But other than that, the car was flawlessly reliable. So, you know, I think there's usually a little bit of a premium to be paid for a Honda, but I think there's a good reason for that as well. Okay, so traffic's starting to build up now, but I'm still feeling pretty chill. And that's because I haven't really had to do much. I have something called Traffic Jam Assist switched on, and that allows the car to kind of steer itself in lane and take over the accelerating and braking, so I can kind of just sit back and chillax. And that is part of something called Honda Sensing. That's a suite of kind of safety and driver assist systems, and it includes things like adaptive cruise control. So I can see that the car has locked onto the car in front of me, There's a little display that shows the car, and you know, it's just going to follow the speed of the vehicle in front of me, so I have less to do. It has other systems like collision mitigation, so if the car senses that there's an obstacle in front of me, it's going to hit the brakes for me so that I either won't crash into it, or if I do crash into it, it's going to be a smaller crash. It can also help me stay in lane and all that kind of good stuff, which are very important in a family car, along with blind spot monitors. So some people call things like Honda Sense like semi-autonomous driving systems, but I think it's more important to recognize that they are actually safety systems. They're there to assist the driver and not replace the driver. But at the end of the day, they help you feel more relaxed behind the wheel, and they help you feel safer as well. So I think the most challenging thing about driving the Step Wagon is parallel parking. But you don't want to watch me do that, do you? Okay, now let's punch it. Whoa, okay, this car is actually decently quick, but you can hear the engine is screaming, it's screaming, okay. So that's not a great experience, but yeah, I actually wasn't expecting so much acceleration. On paper, 0 to 100 is 9.7 seconds, which isn't particularly quick, but yeah, at least the car feels quite lively when you drive it. But this is not a performance car, it is a hybrid car. So let's talk about how the hybrid system works. Now, you know there's an electric motor and there is a petrol engine. So I'm not going to tell you what they do, why don't I tell you when they're activated instead? So generally when you drive, there are like 3 basic conditions, right? There's like maximum power when you need to overtake someone, and okay, so that's when obviously the engine and the motor work together to drive this car and send maximum power to the front wheels. And what's interesting about this car is that it also has a mode for start-stop traffic or low-speed traffic. And that is when a petrol engine is actually at its least efficient. That is when electric motors excel. So this car can drive along on motor power. It's fed by a small battery. And when this battery runs low, it can actually be topped up by the petrol engine that will kick in, generate electricity, and use that to power the car. That's actually like Nissan's e-power system, and it's actually a very efficient way to do things for a number of reasons. Number one, like now I'm at a red light, and if this were a petrol car, the engine would be running for no reason at all. I mean, just to stay alive. And now I'm just idling here on electricity. The aircon is running on electricity, and basically that's super efficient. Also, when you have a buffer battery, right, you can put energy back into that battery. So whenever I'm slowing down in the Step Wagon, I'm actually topping up the battery and recovering that energy instead of kind of converting it to heat and then wasting it. In fact, behind the steering wheel, there are these paddles here that can actually adjust the amount of regenerative braking that I want. So in that sense, it is just like an electric car. And I just got around that U-turn on electric power. Then there's a third mode, which is when we are on the highway and driving at more or less a constant speed. And in those conditions, well, petrol or combustion engines are actually very, very efficient. So when I'm doing that, the engine wakes up and it can power the car directly, and it's doing it at a speed that favors petrol, and that's something Nissan's e-power system doesn't do. So I really have the best of both systems. I've got a petrol or combustion engine for steady state high speeds on the expressway, and then I've got an electric system for the city when basically electricity reigns supreme and petrol is super inefficient. But the whole point of all that is not to boost performance, but to help you save fuel. And it kind of feeds back into the idea of this being the ultimate family car, because, well, family car doesn't just mean you have enough space for everyone on board. It means it helps you save money at the pumps so that you have more to spend on your kids. With a little bit of skill and luck, you should be able to achieve 20 kilometers per litre with this car, or 5 litres per 100 kilometers. And what I think we have here is the essence of Japan in a car. It makes the most of the available space, and it is just very thoughtfully designed. I have 2 complaints. I think that with the Step Wagon, I would like a 360-degree camera. Because if this car is all about making life behind the wheel easy, then I think that that is a must-have feature, especially when you have a car of this size. Also, I think of this more as a 6+1 seater rather than a 7-seater. Yes, you can get 3 adults into the back, but I would only do so for shorter journeys. That third row of seats really works best with only 2 people back there. But how clever are those seats? Not only do they disappear under the floor, they do so effortlessly. And that really is a nice piece of engineering and design. This car really is like a bento box. It seems like there's a place for everything. And it seems to be designed by people who recognize that if you're carrying 6 or 7 people around, you also have to carry the stuff for 6 or 7 people around. So if you've been to Japan, I think you're really going to recognize that quality in this car. And if you haven't been to Japan, well, this right here is your taste of Tokyo. Really?